Welcome back. It's been a minute. Mainly because this dude took an ungodly amount of time to paint altogether. I think from the point of me gathering all the 3D files, planning the poses out, getting everything built, assembled, primed, painted, I want to say anywhere from like 25 to 30 hours to get this bad boy done. It's the first time I've painted anything in this scale. I think the next largest model I've ever painted was the Armiger that I did a couple months back. And this, actually, let me bring it real quick. Like, this thing seemed like such a huge model to paint when I did it, and like comparing it to a regular Custodian, like that's a big model. But compared to this guy, like this is its gun, and it's bigger than the Armiger, which is insane to me. But I got it all done. I wanted to go for a Custodian vibe to it because this is supposed to be a Custodian Knight. I don't intend of running an actual Imperial Knight army. It's just going to be a supplemental piece to the Custodian army that I have going on right now. So I kept the gold, green, white color scheme, and just splashed in a little bit of bronze whenever anything fire related or plasma related would be fired. I kept the bronze on there. The nice, beautiful, like matte green finish I got, I used Vallejo model paint, which I think is still the best paint on the market. I haven't been able to get a hold of Pro Krill's Bolt Titanium one because it's still out of stock everywhere on me. So I had to suffer through, I think it was like 7 layers of white paint to get these things going. But yeah, let's take a look at everything that kind of holds this model together, starting at the base. The base, I kept the general theme of having an autumnal forest vibe to it, and then given the large scale of the model, I wanted to not just have a bunch of dirt. So I added an intercrossing blue river flowing through, and then sprinkled in a couple of Necron body parts, as if to say that this knight came out of battle from conquering a bunch of Necron territories. I kept a little tree that I 3D printed, added some regular twigs from outside. And this right here, I actually found this angel statue online, and just scruffed it up, broke it up a little bit, dry brushed some regular gray on there, and I think it came out great. This green right here, they were supposed to be vines, but I didn't mix the green stuff well enough, and it doesn't look great, but at some point I just had to call the model finished, because I had already painted over most of this, and tearing this off would have torn off parts of the water, torn off part of the dirt, and I decided to just leave it. You know, things happen. Moving up from there, I worked on this armor piece, which I actually got these from a separate Custodian Knight model where I just took the armor pieces. So this, and the lion shoulder pads, which are honestly some of my favorite bits of this whole model. And this arm I got from one set of models. And then I got, the lance and this was from one set of models. And then the shoulder pads and light parts were from an entirely separate piece. And I just want to appreciate the fucking model work on this. Because this wasn't an Imperial Knight scan, somebody actually hand modeled in Blender all of the individual pieces. I added little bits of Tesseract glow on the cables in there to give the model a little bit more life. I want to say one of my favorite pieces of this model has got to be this little bit right here. Most of my armies have some religious iconography, and I actually found this beautiful shield of the Archangel Michael sending Satan down to hell, which is one of my favorite pieces of religious, I want to say lore, religious mythology that I enjoy is that specific scene. So adding it onto here as a crest on the knight was a really good call for me. I'm very proud of that. The helmet, very ornate, keeping the white and the gold. I wanted to keep the green mainly on the armor panels, gold trimmed, and then reserving the Tesseract glow for little like iconic pieces over here. The guns over there, I decided to glue these down because I'm not really going to be replacing these anytime soon. Kept over there, the Tesseract glow there. I didn't really do much with the paneling. I kept the panels just a regular green, some white, and some gold, because I didn't want this to distract from the other pieces of the model. Had I free-handed a bunch of designs here, done a lot here, it would have really felt busy, considering a lot of the armor pieces have this ornate white line imagery. I didn't really even want to add too much shading to the line, because it would have been too busy, especially at a model this large. You really just want to pick and choose where you want to put the detail work, where you want to put the line work. But overall, I think it held up very well. Particularly like the chest piece over there with the eagle. The internal machinery, I actually did a Rust-Oleum just metallic primer over all this. I skipped the whole black primer, just went straight to metallic primer. And then ran some, I think it's Earthshade? The Citadel wash. I didn't want to do a black wash, because black wash on metal gives it this like grimdark, like depressing look, and I wasn't really going for this. This was supposed to be a hopeful army of nature. So giving them the more earth tone to the washes really tied the whole piece together with the basing works. And what else can I actually talk about here? Oh yeah, so I actually freehanded this part. It's not perfect, but I think with the skill level that I'm at and the weird curvature of this armor piece, having the Selesnya symbol there was a really good touch on my part. Overall, incredibly happy with how this model came out, and it's actually gigantic. The lance, I want to say, is 1.5 times as long as the body, and I actually had to trim down the end of it to get it to stick on here. But it's a beautiful model. Absolutely gorgeous model. I was originally going to do the blade in green, like I do the Custodian blades, but I realized this looks really good at this scale. I don't think the effect would have looked good on this scale, when you can most closely see all the different gradients and changes in green hues. So I'm keeping the regular glow sword for the lip dudes, and then the larger guy as the actual true metallic sheen to it. If you look closer, I added a little spickles of just white blended in with the Tesseract glow to give it a little more texture over there. For a gigantic model, it actually barely fit on the shelves where I have all these guys set up at. And if we actually look at the guns, this is oh, it went blue for a second. There we go. Sorry about that. The guns were really good to model and paint. Very simple, just did a whole cover of black matte over it and just dry brushed metallic in there. Didn't want it to be perfect, just wanted to give it this really messed up feel for the guns, since they're what's usually taking a lot of the damage. They're heating up, they're being moved around. People aim to usually destroy the guns if you're looking at it from a lore perspective. I wanted to include the Tesseract glow in all the cabling, even if the gun was just firing like a regular bullet, as you would fire from this gun. Just to give it a little bit more visual identity. Obviously, I magnetized them all, which work relatively okay. They were pretty cheap magnets, but they do the job. The only one that doesn't work out that well is this gigantic plasma cannon, which looks gorgeous, honestly. But if I put it on there, it doesn't stick. Which I tried fixing it by just adding another layer of magnets to it, but it's fine. I'm not really going to be using that weapon all that often, and if I do, it's just I'm just going to have to deal with that. Not exactly sure how to make the magnet stronger without just removing everything and scraping up all the paint, so we'll take our victories where we can. Finally, just have the rapid fire cannon. Again, regular green, some gold. Use very light silver on all the paneling, and then some bronze for the flamethrowers. We're happy with that. And then this piece, I use Speed Paint 2.0 bronze on it, which I don't like the paint all that much because it never really covers well. But it worked out here because at such a large scale, it actually blended through the black, and it gave a really nice weather look without me having to actually hand weather the guns. Or at the very least, not the bronze parts. So that worked out fine for this piece. So overall, that's what I've been working on for the past, like, I think 2 weeks, two and a half weeks. Has just been this Imperial Knight. Which, not doing this for a while. I want to do a Lancer to complete kind of like the whole little army going on, but this was such a large undertaking and cost like $35 worth of resin to get all the pieces all together. And God, was it exhausting. Rewarding. I'm so proud of this model, but God, was it exhausting. So we're actually going to move something smaller. I'm actually going to be taking care of these Imperial Guard artillery pieces, so I'm probably going to be working on these over the next couple days. These are again going to be painted with the Fallout Vault Dweller color scheme that I have going on. Which actually, let me grab one of them real quick, see what I'm talking about. Here's a smaller artillery piece. You know, your regular IKEA Vault Boy colors, your blues, your yellows. I actually learned a lot from this, where I think I'm going to reprime all these guys in yellow and then paint the blue over it just to give it a little more ease to the yellow layering. overall, very happy. These will come out nice. I think it shouldn't take more than a week or so to get them all done. So that's going to be the following project. Catch you all next time.